Hello class. I will not be here again today, so I'm going to go over the two problems that we had up here from yesterday that we did not get to talk about because we ran out of time. So look at number 35 in your review packet. This question, if you're looking at your packet, your directions say, determine whether each pair of triangles is similar, justify your answer. There were three different shortcuts to determining similar triangles. Okay, so if you will remember, the three shortcuts, side, side, side was the first one, side, angle, side is the next one, and then that different one, angle, angle, AA. A lot of times they're going to give you pictures where you can use this AA. Look for that the most of all. Look at number 35. You've got angle and angle. You've got those two angles marked congruent. So are these triangles similar? Your answer for this is yes. Justify your answer. That just means what shortcut are you using? So here's your answer. Yes, by angle, angle similarity. Okay. Now, if you'll remember, similar triangles, your sides have to be proportional. Okay, so just to throw that in there, if you get a problem and they give you something about side lengths, we're not looking for congruent. If it's similar triangles, sides are proportional. Okay, but in a case like this, angle, angle, you don't have to worry about checking any proportions because your corresponding angles are going to be congruent. Okay, let me just kind of take this one step further. What could you say about C and D in these triangles? If you know two angles of triangles are congruent to each other, this third one automatically has to be, because the total of any angles in a triangle is always 180. Okay, so angle, angle is the official way to say it. Is that the same thing as angle, angle, angle? Yes, it is. Okay, but if two angles are congruent to each other, we can automatically say that these triangles have to be similar. All right, so let's look at number 36 together. This is the other one that somebody asked about and we didn't have time to get to. This is an excellent question. I want to say this to you. Number 36, 37, and 38 on your review packet there, those are all similar to this because you're setting up proportions. Okay. Now, how do I know I can set up proportions to solve for x on number 36? First of all, you've got to determine that these triangles are similar to each other. Okay. Now, just because these lines at the top and bottom are parallel doesn't make them congruent to each other, and obviously it's not going to be, because look here, we got 5, we got 9. Okay. However, if they give you parallel lines, they probably want you to say that some angles are congruent. Okay, take a look at this. The parallel lines on top and bottom. Do you remember that bow tie kind of idea where we kind of twist it around here? And also, you guys know about these angles in here. This angle, which on your page is called C, it is going to be congruent to A because parallel lines form alternate interior angles. Okay, do you see your other pair of alternate interior angles? Here they are. Every time you have parallel lines, these corners of your Z's are going to be congruent to each other. That's why they put these little arrows on there, because they want you to remember about those alternate interior angles. Okay, so there we've got two angles corresponding that are congruent to each other. How do we know for sure that this top triangle and this bottom triangle are similar? Do you see your shortcut AA again? So we know that they are similar triangles. Now that we know they're similar, we can set up proportions with the corresponding sides. Okay. Also, I'm going to do one more thing here. What do you always know about vertical angles? They are always congruent to each other. Anything you know, don't be lazy on your midterm tomorrow, on Tuesday. Write down anything that you know. Okay, vertical angles are congruent, mark it in. All right, look at that, how that helps you. When we start setting up these corresponding sides, 5 on top is going to correspond with the other parallel line down at the bottom. Okay, that's going to be your first ratio. Set it equal to your ratio that comes from your other pieces. Look at where 4x plus 3 is. Look at where 9x is. How do you know those are corresponding? Look at the angles that this piece is connecting. We got 2 marks, 3 marks. 4x plus 3 is connecting those 2 angles together. Okay, you see that? What's connecting these 2 angles over here? 3 marks, 2 marks. 9x is connecting those 2 angles over there. So these pieces are in the same location on those different triangles. Okay, so those are going to be our other corresponding parts to put here in the proportion. However, be really careful here. What goes on top, what goes on bottom? Okay, well, if we start with 5 on top for our first one, 9 on bottom, we've got to come back to the top triangle and put 4x plus 3 on top. And then 9x on the bottom triangle is going to go on the bottom. Okay, I will go ahead and finish this out, so let's solve it together. 5 times 9x is 45x. Proportions, set one cross product equal to the other cross product. Okay, remember when you have something like this, 9 times 4x plus 3, distribute that 9 so that you get 36x plus 27. Okay, be careful right there. Don't leave that as a 3. Okay, now your next step, get your x's on one side together. So let's subtract 36x from both sides. And this gives you, is that 9x? All right, y'all better check this because I'm doing it in my head. So you tell me on Tuesday if I get it wrong. But I believe this is what you're going to get for x. And I do have the answer in front of me. Got it right. Okay, so x is 3. Now, if you read the directions on 36 on your review packet, find the measures of the indicated parts. It doesn't even want x. Okay, so we have to find it first, but don't get carried away here. When you get your x, don't just circle 3 on your multiple choice answer key. Make sure you're answering the correct thing. We don't actually want x. We want to take it a step further and find these 2 parts. Okay, so if we want to find EB, take a look. This is the piece 4x plus 3. So plug in your x, and this gives you 12, plus 3 gives you 15. Okay. Now, the other part it asks you for is ED. Look at where ED is. E is here, D is all the way down. It wants this entire piece. Okay, so don't just plug it into 9x and stop. Okay, let's do that. Let's plug it into 9x. So 3 goes in for x. 9 times 3, it gives you 27. But 27 is this piece BD. What did we find for this other this other part up here? We found 15. Now you say they're not equal to each other, but remember they shouldn't be equal to each other because these are just similar triangles. Okay, so let's take another look here. If this little piece right here is 27, this piece is 15, can you find the whole thing ED? Let's add together 15 plus 27. When you have the 2 pieces, how do you get the whole thing? You add them. So 15 plus 27, that will give you 42, I believe. Again, check me. Okay, so your answer key are going to have these answers, not your x value, because this is what it's asking for. Okay. All right, there's the 2 that we did not have time for yesterday. If you have any more questions, Miss Danner will be here. You can ask her. I do not mind if you guys help each other, but this is not a time for you to be just socializing because this test on Tuesday is very important, and for most of you, it could make the difference between 2 different letter grades. Okay, you have everything that you need to do very well on this test. This review packet is the most important thing. I have written the answers over on the whiteboard on this side of the projector. If you will refer to that, make sure you got your answers correct. If you've got a different answer and you can't figure out how to get one of those, grab somebody that's got the right answer and say, hey, how did you do this? How did you get this answer? Okay, so you can help each other as long as you're not just using the time to socialize. And I have one more thing that's going to help you get really ready for this midterm. You're going to get a sheet that looks like this. It's got a front and a back. It's got lots of vocabulary words, lots of concepts. If you know all these concepts on here, this is the stuff that you're going to need to really succeed at this midterm. Okay, so your class work is to first make sure all these are finished up and you understand every one of them. And then you do need to fill this out before Tuesday. Okay, so take the class time to work on that as well. Okay, you can work together with your teammates as long as you are working. If you are not, Ms. Danner is going to have you work individually or reassign you different people to work with. Okay? All right, good luck preparing. You guys are going to do great. Take some time this weekend to study your index cards, study these packets, go back through and rework the problems in this packet. That's going to be your biggest help. Okay, so you're going to do wonderful as long as you prepare yourself. I miss you guys, and I will see you on Tuesday. Please bring these to school on Tuesday, and I'll take them from you.